This episode was sponsored by Let 'Em Look Hair by Christy. Amazing hair experience custom to your request. Have the hair you always wanted. Specializing in fantasy colors, blondes, and balayage. Make an appointment at 910-709-5800 or check out her Instagram page at letem_look. Hey girl, hey, welcome to another episode of Fake Lashes, Real Feelings. You're here with Gloria. And today we're going to be talking about seasonal depression and feeling the holiday blues since it is right in the middle of December. We just passed Thanksgiving. For my guest today, we have my actual best friend in the whole wide world, Katherine Mancha.
Hello.
I asked Kat to be here for this episode because we've just gone through a lot in the past couple of years. We've experienced a lot, and this is a subject that we both talk about all the time and kind of discuss a lot.
Yeah, Gloria being my best friend, we both have mutual situations that have happened in our lives, and I feel like a lot of things I've been through, she's had the same, and I feel like if I didn't have her, a best friend such as herself, I wouldn't be able to overcome everything that I've had in the past. And I know for many people, they're not blessed enough or fortunate to have a connection with another person like I do with Gloria. And I feel like this is an important topic we all need to cover, and we all need to learn how to be accountable.
Yes, yeah. So we want to just talk about a lot of different things. One thing I wanted to talk about is just seasonal depression is a real thing. So we want to read the definition just to clear up a couple of things that people believe or just tall tales people want to put in their head, I guess. But seasonal depression is a mood disorder, and it's characterized by depression that occurs at the same time every year. So its affective disorder occurs in climates where there is less sunlight at certain times of the year. And that's because sunlight directly affects our mood because of the chemicals and the vitamins and all of that stuff. So it is science that seasonal depression is a real thing. And so I feel it once the hours change, once the weather changes, I start to feel a little bit more blue.
Yep.
Katherine lives in Chicago.
So moving away from the Sun City, I took the Sun City for granted. I never assumed in my head, oh, I live in the Sun City. Sun's with me all the time. Moving to Chicago, I have no sun. I've never had depression. I would say I'm a very happy, uplifting person. But living in a city where you're surrounded by sunlight for 4 hours definitely starts to feel some type of way when you're in bed by 4 p.m. So I feel like calling Gloria at like 4 in the afternoon, I'm already tucked into bed. Most of everybody who gets to live by the sun gets their sun at least till like 6 p.m.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way big difference in the amount of sun you get, the amount of vitamins you have, and all of that. So people definitely feel it. At first, I thought, okay, I'm just taking, something's going on in my life and I'm taking it hard 1 year. And then the next year is like, oh, I'm going through this, I'm taking it hard. And then it was kind of like a pattern and I'm like, oh, what? You know? Mm-hmm. And then you do a little bit more research or then you take yourself to a therapist, and that's so important too. Like therapy is a huge thing. Like it's a resource. So I kind of want to talk about different things, different resources. So what are some of your favorite resources that you got when you were starting to feel very depressed? Because I know you've fallen into deeper depressions and then more functional depressions, I guess you could call them.
Yeah, I feel like personally myself, I'm the type of person that I have to tell myself, all right, let's go, girl. Time to go to work. You don't have time to be in bed being sad. And I kind of block my emotions, so I become emotionally impairant. So I don't channel how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. So it gets brushed under the rug. And after a while, that starts to pile up. And then I come to to realize, oh, I'm not feeling myself. I'm not feeling happy, Catherine. I am feeling depression. So one thing I do like to do, I like to be my own problem and be my own solution.
Yeah.
So I like to tell myself, why am I sad? What legit reason do I have to be sad about?
Yeah.
So I self-reflect. And I would say meditating is one thing that does help.
Okay.
Meditation is a very hard place to take yourself in, especially when you have so much running through your head. And it's not an easy practice.
Yeah.
It's something that I definitely need to do. I'm fortunate to have a lot of alone time. So I can see how hard it could be for anybody. So what I like to do is I ride the train to work. That's my only time I get to think.
Yeah.
What's going on with my emotional self. And I like to think about myself in two separate ways. I like to think about my emotional body and my physical body. If they're both not feeling good, that's how I know I'm depressed. Because I can work out, I can eat healthy, I could take the bombest selfie on Instagram, get all these guys in my DMs. That's not going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
I'm still going to feel sad. Nothing like that's going to uplift me. I need to be my own source.
Yeah.
So being my own cheerleader, being my own person in my head telling myself, you got this, dig through, pull it out.
For sure.
So I think that's one method, just trying to be my alter ego.
For sure. I think if you have the power to, if you're still feeling like the holiday blues or you're feeling it, you can still self-talk yourself into feeling a little bit better. If you're falling into a deeper depression, self-reflecting can be dangerous at times because you start to think negatively about yourself and things like that. So it really just take account into how you're really feeling, where your head's really, really at. One thing I did also want to talk about is therapies. I think a lot of times we think therapies are like out of reach, that there's something, oh, I can't get, oh, it's not impossible, oh, it's not something that anyone in my family's done. But I know it's helped me in the past so many different ways.
I feel like there's different methods of therapy. Of course, there's talk therapy, where I could instantly call my good girlfriend, talk to her, tell her how I'm feeling.
Yes.
At the end of the day, she's not a paid professional therapist to listen to me. So I have to respect my friends. And I need to understand that they have their own life and their own situations.
And their own boundaries.
That's a limitation you need to know. So you need to take accountable of seeking professional help. There's Talkspace, which is an app. You get the first 30 days for free, and you can text a professional therapist and FaceTime them. I personally used this before in the past, and I feel like it's been very effective. And to get to that point in your life where you feel like, okay, I can't be calling my girlfriends. And one thing that I've been guilty of in the past, and I'll take account for, is projecting my emotions on men. I'm single, I date around, I own up to it. And I feel like I've projected my sadness onto men. And I just like elevate all my energy towards them, that I'm sad and I want them to uplift me and I want them to make me feel good. But that makes me even more empty. So that's when I really thought to myself, I need professional help, not my girlfriends, not men that I hook up with. They're not going to help me.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody can help you like that, for sure.
Yeah.
That's knowing to take those steps and not being afraid to take those steps is so important.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable talking, if you're not comfortable expressing yourself like that, there's other things that you can do. You know, there's YouTube videos, just like with everything else.
Yeah.
There is self-help books. I don't know
What was that?
My phone.
Oh, no.
Sorry about that. Sorry. So we had a couple of different questions, and just to talk about like what different people have on their mind when we mention seasonal depression or the holiday blues. And I think this will give us a little bit more insight to where everyone's mind at is this holiday season.
Where's your mind at right now this holiday season, Gloria?
I've been personally struggling. I always struggle with the holiday season. I just get very emotional. I just get...
What's a trigger for you? Is
I
it the
guess-
holiday itself? Is it what comes with the holidays?
I think it's just the being with all the family and
Yeah.
just like memories and I actually am missing a lot of memories. So I just suffer from like a lot of memory loss from childhood up until now. So there's just like whole months, there's whole things I just don't remember. And that's like really heartbreaking sometimes.
Yeah.
So one of the cool questions that we got was, they want to know what not having your whole family to celebrate the holidays with due to toxic family members, how that's affecting their holiday mood and how they could deal with that. So I feel like we've all dealt with toxic family members.
I feel like people need to realize at a certain age, not just because they're your family, they're not good people. Unfortunately, you start to define, you see your tias, but you get older and you see your tias as a person. You see your mom. I personally have grown to see my mom as my mom, but also a woman. So you learn to like separate the two. And I feel like when you start to develop that like whole mentality of dividing up their entitlement of what they are to you as a person, you start to understand. And I know some people are toxic. Like I have 2 older brothers and I love my brothers dearly. I do anything for them, but they drive me crazy and we do not have the same views. And at times I do feel like our relationships are toxic.
Yeah.
And I've grown to the age where, like, he's my brother. He loves me. We're blood. But at the same time, as a person, I will not tolerate it.
And you limit your time.
Exactly.
You limit your phone. You limit your space. You limit your holiday. Because you are saving yourself. So that's what it is. You got to limit yourself. So, I mean, you could cut them out completely. Yeah, but can you really cut out every single person in the world that's toxic? No, you just limit how they affect you.
You do not cut people. You just learn how to alternate your viewpoint towards these people. Okay. You need to understand and you need to kind of put yourself in their demeanor towards maybe why they do act that way and how they make you feel. And you don't put up with it. Yeah. Just because they're your family.
Makes sense. Okay, let's see. What other amazing questions, comments, concerns we got? What truly kills you inside and what you do to change your mood? How does one prepare for...
I feel like this goes back to what I was saying earlier about being your own problem and solution. If you know something's going to upset you, if you know that one person gets on your nerves, like me and my brother, I have to mentally prepare myself to go to his house. Yeah. Because I already know he gets on my nerves. I already know we have opposite views on life. We're going to argue, but I tell him...
And he's going to piss you off on purpose.
Exactly.
He does it on purpose.
That's
they
what
always
it is.
Do.
And families like that. And you have friends like that, but that's a whole different category. Because with family, you got to tolerate. But that's when you come to you have to mentally prepare yourself. You need to walk in there and understand what you're getting yourself into. It's like signing up for a job. You have to be on time. There might be your uniform. You know what you're signing up for?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, prepare. How do you prepare for it? By talking yourself, and you know what truly kills you inside. So you just prepare yourself and change your mood for it. So question was in the answer. Answer was in the question. Good one. Thank you, sir. What's a good way to cope when you're missing a loved one that's passed?
This is very difficult for Gloria and I. We both lost our dads 1 year apart. And I unfortunately can't really have a straight answer for this because I miss my dad every single day. And I know Gloria's within the same boat because we're literally our father's daughters.
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of think about the answer for this one all day. Trying to think of ways I cope, and I can't think of any. I guess, just
I would
remembering them, of course, but I can't lie and say like, oh, this is going to help, because it's not. Nothing helps.
I think one thing that I try to do personally, my dad was always big on being a family unit. Be close to your siblings. He would always tell me, one day I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be dead, and I need to know that you and your siblings talk and get along and you love each other. So as much as I've complained a lot about my brothers, I have their back and I'm there for them, biting my tongue, because it's something my dad would want. So that's what I do. I honor something that my dad would want from me. knowing that my dad wanted me to do that one thing, I do that for him to this day, and I'll continue to do it because I know it's something he's always asked for me. So I think that's one thing you can do is cope. If your loved one had a certain mission or a message that always was preached to you and burned into your head, continue, live it on, because as you live it, you're living through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all the ways you can mourn, they are good ways to cope, especially during the holiday season. I just try and hold on to the memories and imagine that my dad is there, or imagine that my other loved ones who I have lost are there with me. So I guess just holding on to memories, keeping them in your mind. When I first lost my dad, it seems like it was never going to end. Like the pain was going to be the worst.
Yeah.
The holiday was like so hard. I thought Christmas was ruined. People were having like great Christmases. People were going on cruises. People were having amazing gift exchanges.
Getting engaged.
People were getting engaged. People were having like amazing years.
Yeah.
And my dad was like throwing up on himself, like, you know, like shitting on himself. Like, it was really sad to watch your parent like go backwards like that. And that's exactly what I was experiencing during the holidays. And it was so bad. And I just felt like it was never going to go away. But with time, like everything heals itself and everything goes through, just like the seasonal depression comes and goes, the season changes, you know, and things get better. And then the season comes back and it's hard because the memory's there, but it's just not as fresh as last year and it won't be as fresh as the year before. So I guess time is another way to cope. Keeping hope is a good way to cope. And just trying to stay strong with either like familiar faces and friends. Talk about your feelings. It's really hard to talk about them, but just talk about them. Like, your friends aren't going to know what to say, and that's okay, but just talk to them anyway because it's going to feel good for you.
Definitely. I agree. I've always been expressive, and I know for other people it's very hard to verbally express yourself, and I know that's an issue, and we all have our own forms of expressing, like going on social media. You know, we're in a generation where that's a big platform and a lot of people have more voices getting behind Twitter and Instagram. Hey, if that helps you, that helps you. You can write it out, put it on your Twitter, your Instagram, or you could put it on your notes. You could text it to your friends. You could text it to your mom, whatever you need to do, as long as you are letting it out in the atmosphere, because the more you put it in your head, the more of a demon it becomes.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so important. Just to, like, whatever your thoughts are, just let them out.
Yep.
Let's see what another question has been. Yeah, I think coping with death is definitely one of the hardest things to do during the holidays. Family boundaries. So again, going back to the setting the family boundaries, we talked kind of about mentally preparing yourself, but it's also okay to tell your family your boundaries, even if you're being rude.
I've mastered this. It took me 26 years to master boundaries. I am the youngest girl, and everyone looks at me as like a child, but I'm a woman now. I live on my own. I live in a big city. I have a career. Like, I've grown. You do not treat me like a 12-year-old woman, a little girl now. So boundaries has always been an issue in my family because everybody wants to be in my personal life. Everyone thinks, oh, she can do this and she can do that. No. I say no, and no is an answer, not an explanation. Like, no. I'm not going to stress myself or run myself thin. And I no longer feel bad saying no because I need to take care of myself, even if it is with family, because family can drain you just as much as friends.
Yeah. I think I also, the other day, I was hanging out with my brother. Me and my brother have a good relationship. It has taken some time, and we both are, I guess, moody. And so we both have to be like, in a mood where we're both going to agree, because if we're both in a mood where we're going to disagree, it's going to be really bad. And so it's just hard. It's like both of us always walking on eggshells. Anyway, so he decides to talk to me about something, and I knew we weren't going to see eye to eye. And so I also kind of just didn't think this was an important subject. Like, I just didn't want to talk about it. And I said, I just don't think this is worth talking about. And he continued with his conversation. And of course, we ended up in an argument, and I ended up getting like very, very upset because I have a very short fuse lately because I'm just going through a lot of emotions, because I've been feeling a little bit manic. So I have a short fuse lately. And he just kind of pushed me over the edge. And I was like, I told you I didn't want to talk about this. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, why do you not get that? You know? But it was setting those boundaries since the beginning. Like, I don't want to talk about this. And I should have just been more firm and like, I'm not going to engage. Like, I'm just not going to engage. Like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, let me change the subject. Let me put on a song. Let me put on a funny Facebook video. Like, there's so many things I could have done instead of engaging in the conversation I already said I wasn't going to.
Yeah, I feel like one thing when it comes to boundaries, since growing up, I've respected everyone because I'm the youngest one. So I used to think, I don't say no. I have to do what they have to say. If they're asking me a question, I need to answer, even if it makes me feel so uncomfortable. But no, you come to a point to your life, well, your family needs to respect you, and they're not going to respect you unless you set that form of, you select what you want to talk about. If something's making you uncomfortable, you let them know, like, hey, honestly, I don't feel comfortable talking about that. I don't want to talk about it. I have this one auntie who will put me on the spot. She'll ask anything, my credit score, how much I pay for rent, in front of all my family. And I tell her, don't ask me that in front of people. That's none of your business.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not, that's the boundary. I could answer her question if I wanted to, but no, it's no one's business.
Because then it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So yeah, you got to set that boundary.
Yep.
So you can set boundaries in tons of ways by saying something smirky, by saying it before dinner, by pulling someone to the side, saying, you know what, this and this always happens and I want to avoid it. Like, let's try this. There's different ways to set boundaries. If your family doesn't react well to them, I'm sorry. You're probably part of the majority of the El Paso families. But you know what? We're trying. We're going to heal our families.
It's a growing process.
It's a growing process. So keep trying. See what else people ask.
Or you just go to your best friend's house.
Right? Okay. Communicating to close loved ones how you're feeling. That's major.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a personal growth within myself. I've never felt... I also think that also depends on how close you've been with your family growing up. Communication in my family wasn't very strong. Not so maybe my dad passing away is when my brothers and I started to communicate a little bit more. But prior to that, I never know what was going on. It's like I had strangers. They were my siblings, but they were strangers. I don't know what was going on, what they thought, how they feel, what they're into.
Yeah. We don't. You're not taught to talk to your siblings like that all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like some people have beautiful relationships with their siblings and cousins. And, I know there's a lot of people who are only children. They have awesome relationships with their aunts and uncles and moms. But, some people don't have that. They feel like like strangers in their household.
But you can get that. And so if you're feeling blue, if you're feeling down in the holiday season, like, this is a good, or if you think your partner is, or someone close to you, your sibling, your good girlfriend, whoever is going through it, this is your time to build that relationship. Not to say like, oh, it's an opportunity, but that's exactly sometimes what these rough patches are. It's opportunity to show who you truly love, who you truly care about, like putting that effort into that friendship and saying like, look, let me help you. Like, let's figure this out. Or you going and looking for that help, because that was, again, the main question. You need to communicate your feelings. So
also not being afraid. I feel like I've been shy in the past to like talk to my siblings, but now I'm to the point where I'm open and I'm expressive. And I don't care what kind of response I'm going to get. And I feel like you need to not be afraid. You need to not be shy. Yeah. Don't be self-conscious towards the situation.
Yeah. If you're feeling sad, like, it's okay. Own it. Things happen. Like, everybody goes through it. So don't feel self-conscious about you feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling blue. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Definitely.
For sure. Be open about it. Own up to it. Another one we got. How are you supposed to be happy when your whole family is dying and can't wait even to get to dying? So that's tough. During that year, this one I kind of related to.
Absolutely.
My grandpa was passing away. He passed away the day after Christmas. And then my dad passed away about 3 weeks later, like in the same room. It was just like a really, really crazy month. And I totally felt that, like, how am I supposed to enjoy this? Like, I was going back to it, like, everybody around me is doing this and doing that. How am I supposed to enjoy it? Like, how am I supposed to enjoy it? You're not.
You're not.
You're not supposed to enjoy it. Like, sometimes you don't enjoy Christmas. Like, sometimes you don't get to play in the snow because you have a fucking cold. Like, sometimes you don't get to have a good date because the guy's a weirdo. Like,
Sometimes
you don't
work
get
on
everything.
And sometimes you work on your birthdays and you can't celebrate your birthdays with all your friends. Like, you need to just... When I've had the same situation as Gloria, my dad had passed away. Within 6 months prior to that, my grandma passed away, and they both lived in the same house, and that was a lot on my family too. And I have a very small family, so I was losing like 50% of my family, and I used to try and pretend nothing was going on. That was my fault. I had a boyfriend at the time who was not a very healthy relationship for myself. I try to like substance my feelings through drinking and partying all the time. I pretend my life was fine. And I pretend like my dad was fine. Everything was okay, but I had so much going on and I masked everything and I regret it. And I wish I could have been more present in the moment and accept the fact of the reality of what's going on. Ownership to what's happening. Yes, it's sad. Yes, it's hard. But, you have to really just be present because you don't want to have resentment towards yourself.
Yeah, that's so major. So you have to just feel it, grow from it, go through it, because you can't go around it, because then it's going to come back in front of you later.
Absolutely.
That's just how it goes. So you just got to go through it. You know what I mean? I remember one year was like so rough, and I had just turned 18. I was suffering with a really bad eating disorder, and I was admitted into a hospital, and it was like maybe like a day after Christmas, 2 days after Christmas, and I ended up spending the New Year there, and all the Christmas decorations were still up, and it just felt like so strange, and I was like, this isn't real. Like, it can't be real. Like, this isn't my real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're disconnected.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And I can't feel that whole episode of my life back. Like, I cannot feel it. And like, wasn't a great Christmas. I don't want to remember it, but I don't want to feel so like unattached to something either. But I feel like I pushed it out. And at times I feel like I could have grown more if I had just gone through it.
Yes.
There was a lot of issues that I avoided at that time that I could have grown through, and I would have been a little bit further sooner.
Yeah, and I feel like we all handle grief very differently. I like to compare grief to like an ocean. It's a wave. It's going to hit you in waves. You're going to have your highs and you're going to have your lows. And you need to embrace how all of them feel. It's like what I've been saying throughout this whole podcast, and I don't know if you caught on, but I always tried to be accountable for my own emotions, and not everybody is capable of that, but that's took a lot of practice. You need to be your own supporter. You need to be your own voice inside your head, and you need to be accepting.
And you need to book that doctor's appointment if that's the step you need to do. If you need to make that call to whoever you need to make that call to, you need to, again, like, you need to keep pushing towards, of course, you can always reach out to great friends. It's amazing to have great friends, but at the end of the day, like, you need to take accountability.
Yes.
Let's see what other topics we got. Making myself participate last year actually helped me pick myself up.
Good. Good for you.
That's something to try.
Yeah. Getting out of your comfort zone, putting yourself in a demeanor you would not understand, or trying something different.
Yeah, forcing you're yourself. Not feeling yourself, and you're just going to do it. Do it for your kids, do it for your mans, do it for your moms. Yeah. And then you might end up loving it. If you end up loving it, fuck yeah. If you end up hating it, fuck yeah. Just kidding. But no, I think that's a really good
think that's very important. I think that's really awesome because that's
I might try that, maybe.
I do that with my life. I've made myself so uncomfortable so many times, but I don't regret it.
That's true.
Yeah.
You grow through it, not going around it.
Exactly. I like that one. You go, girl.
Me too. Okay, the last one that we have, and I think this one is like major, and I think it's something to remember. It says, not taking someone wanting to be alone personally, but checking in. And I think that's major for like the holiday season in general. We invite people to all these parties, we have all these events going on, and then they don't come, and you're like, oh, they didn't come to my party. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I had too much potato salad. Blah, blah. Oh, like worried about the wrong shit. You know what I mean? When it's not even like, oh, I wonder why they didn't come. Like, oh, let me holler at my friend who didn't make it. Like, they usually make it. Let me see what's up. Or, oh, they haven't come out in a couple. What could be up with them? You know, so many things could be wrong. They could be going through it. So, respecting the fact that they don't come through, not making them feel bad, not calling them out on it, not calling them at the middle of the event to give them a guilt trip, but to reach out and just be like, hey, how are you? You good? All right, cool. Just to be a good friend and to show them that you're there. That's really awesome. And also, I think it's a good thing to take into account when you're seeing your family in the holiday. Sometimes your family might be acting a little crazy. I was on one all Thanksgiving. I've been highing. I've been lowing. I've been crying. I was like arguing with cousins. I was dancing. I was all over the place. But my family knows me now, and they kind of just let me be.
And that also goes back to setting the boundary. If you need to be alone and you don't want to be with friends, you don't want to be with family, you set the boundaries and you say, I don't want to be around people. I'm not in a space to share myself, and I need to be by myself. I love to be alone. I'm selfish. I will admit to it. And I do enjoy my alone time because I need to be by myself. And I do let my loved ones know, unfortunately, I'm not going to make it to your Christmas party. Yeah. I'm not going to be there for New Year's Eve. I'm going to be by myself because I love me and I am important and I need to take care of myself and my sanity before I go project my energy onto you, because I refuse to be painting a mask on for any other people.
Yeah. So I think we touched on a lot of different subjects.
I think so too.
I think we did cover a lot of different things that happened during the holidays.
One thing I do want to talk about that I feel like I've experienced in the past, I had a boyfriend for a very long time. And at that time, I worked, went to college. I didn't have money. And one thing that I experienced, and I hope other girls, I think they do too, don't feel pressured to spend money you don't have on presents for your boyfriend. Don't feel like materialistic objects is going to be the definement. Do not go on social media and see this guy who bought his girlfriend a promise ring. I don't know what he's promising with her, that ring, my personal. But don't let it make you feel bad that so-and-so bought this guy this and that. Like, I used to struggle with this for like the past 4 years and used to make me feel so bad because I was trying to pay for school and trying to pay just to get by. I didn't just to ends meet, and I would make my boyfriend arts and crafts every Christmas because that was just what I could do for him. And I don't know, this holiday season, I feel like if you've been in that same position as myself, don't feel pressured and don't feel bad on yourself because you can't spend money on your significant other.
Yeah, that's major on anybody, on any family member. It really is like gifts from the heart, just being with each other, smiling, helping each other, getting over the holiday blues with each other. That's really what it's about. So don't put a price tag on it. And yeah, thank you so much for being my guest.
Anytime, I love you.
I want to wish you guys the most amazing holiday season. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing new year. And I cannot wait to see what we bring to Fake Lashes, Real Feelings in 2020. Bye, bitch.
Bye.